The D, man.
Yeah, shout out my nigga from D's Media, you feel me?
Yo, it's your boy D's Media back again with another video. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel on the road to 100K. Today we gonna talk about, man, your boy Smirk just got a major victory in his case. Let's jump straight into it.
All right, look, I'm outside the federal courthouse in Los Angeles. I just witnessed the Durk trial. I just seen Durk with my own two eyes, literally outside. We're waiting for Brian Steele and Drew Findling to come out and make a statement to the public. I see Brian Steele, see Drew Findling, whole lot of aura in the courtroom. But this was a massive W for Durk today. I'm not gonna lie, this is the biggest W that I think I've seen him take in this case. There's not too much new stuff about the evidence that he's got going on in the situation, but what there is there is a whole lot of back and forth where the judge is low-key taking Durk's side. Durk is fighting to have these new charges of Stefan Mack severed from the guy Robinson, aka Lil Pab. And, you know, there was talk that, you know, he facing another body. This was a body that was rumored to be, you know, associated with the criminal enterprise for quite some time. It finally got brought in with these additional vicar charges. But the judge is basically saying, you can't really throw that murder on so last minute. You're going to be prejudicial to the jury. It's kind of in bad faith. The judge didn't make his ruling yet, but he basically gave both sides an opportunity to argue. I'm not going to lie, the prosecution were completely tongue-tied. They didn't really have a good response. They didn't really have a clap back. The judge kind of dog-walked them a bit. I've got a whole bunch of notes that I'm going to break down in a bigger video on my second channel, Trapmore Ross, on YouTube later. But basically, this was a huge W for Durk. There were moments where the judge basically was just like, let him have his LA murder case on its own as planned in August, and let's separate those other charges. Doesn't mean that the dismissed, although the judge said he would hear arguments for that, and he said the prosecution hasn't even made a case for why it shouldn't be dismissed yet. But basically, it sounds like the judge is going to sever the two different charges, let Durk have his LA Lil Pab murder case separately in August, and then he's going to have to deal with the Chicago later on. It was a very, very big W. Durk was smiling and grinning in the courtroom the whole time, whispering to Drew Findling and Brian Steele, and it was insane. This is the biggest date, the most positive thing I've seen for Durk in this situation. I'm going to have a whole breakdown of this later on, so make sure you follow my channel, Trapmore Ross, on YouTube. Peace.
Okay, so look, we're going to be very, very brief because, as our incredible colleague Christy O'Connor said, there's not a lot to actually say given the thoroughness of His Honor's analysis of everything that was filed. So the docket really speaks for itself. There was incredible filings and briefings done, and such a great job by Ms. O'Connor. And so we appreciate the fact that His Honor, is one of those days that makes it so rewarding to be a trial attorney when a judge takes everything that was submitted and goes through it so thoroughly and in such great detail. And so I'll ask you that was in the courtroom and that have read the filings to rely on His Honor's questions today and the points that he made, and as our innocent client, Durk Banks, and I emphasize, our innocent client, Durk Banks, is waiting. We are looking forward to the close of business today when we get this order, so that we can see if we can be at this courthouse on August 20th of 2026 for the trial that we've been working on and preparing for 22 months. So we appreciate you all being here today, but we're super excited for His Honor's order to come out today, and we so appreciate the thoroughness that took place in that courtroom today. So with that being said, we're not going to do any questions, but we appreciate everybody who's here today. Thank you. Appreciate it. See you, man.
Okay, I'm gonna call you right back. Oh my God. Call you back.
Where are those niggas at that was wearing OTF chains? Where are those dudes at that was just on private jets with Dirt a few years ago? Where are those dudes that was living it up, going to Cancun and Vegas and all of that on Lil Dirt Dime? Where THF at? Where Tay-Town at? Where any known BD blocks that was rocking out with Smirk before he got locked up? Who in that federal courtroom really supporting Smirk? Because the only thing I seen leaving that courtroom was his moms, his dad, his fiance, a couple record labels exec, and a couple friends. But where are those dudes that he just was taking care of the last couple years? Where they at? Where anybody at right now? Shorties, this is a valuable lesson. Dudes, when you up and you got a bunch of yes men around you, when the smoke clear, them gonna be the first ones that hit ghost on you. The first times get hard, watch how many people gonna leave your corner. And Lil Durk is learning that the hard way. If that man lose the rest of his life and his freedom behind this case, watch how many people gonna be there to take care of his friends, his family, his loved ones. Let me say this, right? Congratulations, Lil Durk. I feel like the feds right now is kind of nervous. The reason I say that is this. Lil Durk attorney exposed their hands since the beginning of this trial. They done went to the federal grand jury at least 3 or 4 different times with different indictments, different plots, different motives, different all types of stuff. It went from an OTF informant, said that Durk placed on 6 people, and then that turned to rap lyrics, and that turned to something else, and then something else turned. It's like, come on, man. Then right before the trial about to start, y'all smack this man with another indictment and come up with this Banks Enterprise stuff to try to tie it into what y'all had going on right now. And to be honest with you, they didn't do nothing but fix all the mistakes that they made with the previous indictment. That's why they came back with the Stefan Max situation and all of that, trying to tie it in together to say, oh, well, this Banks criminal organization has something to do with the Lil Pop situation. And because they did this to Quando Rondo at a gas station, they tried to my personal opinion, they tried to place both of these cases together. And even a federal judge said that, like, come on, y'all breaking the law. Like, come on. Then not to mention, y'all keep trying to get the trial pushed back, my personal opinion, because I feel like y'all don't really have the strong evidence. Why would the feds not want to hurry up and go to trial if they got Lil Durk served on a silver platter? Because I'm trying to tell you, I just personally feel like this. His biggest problem is going to be Vonnie. If Vonnie is really cooperating, and that was the man that purchased flights and rental cars and had access to OTF cards, that's the only thing I feel like is going to hurt Durk. Because in order for it to be a B for hire, you have to show where the payment came from. You have to show, some type of transaction of payment being, from one person to the person who did it. And I personally feel like this. If Vonnie was in control of certain bank accounts and he know where certain money is and he was, trusted enough to have an OTF credit card, it's no telling what that man then said behind them closed doors. And I personally feel like Vonnie done already took his deal. I feel like they done told him, if you go up on that stand and you say, whoop, 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 we'll go ask the federal government to give you this. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like Vonnie is about to be one of the most incredible witness that it is. Y'all, this whole time, everybody kept saying jam and whoop, whoop, whoop. Next thing you know, you got Vonnie. The dude who was in control of the money, you know what I'm saying? Allegedly got rental cars and flights and all of that. Come on, man. That's the only thing I'm a little scared for Lil Durk about, man. But my personal opinion, this is a major victory today. But the one thing Lil Durk can go to sleep tonight proud about, man, is this, right? Bro, if you didn't have no money, if you wasn't a famous rapper, if you didn't have the resources you have to be able to afford Brian Steele and his team and Drew Finley, boy, you'll be cooked you'll be cooked. So, bro, you better go to sleep happy and praying, bro, that you a platinum seller artist. Because the average person in this situation would have already probably tried to plea out. You know what I'm saying? Secondly,
The D, man. Yeah, shout out my nigga from D's Media, you feel me?